Alrighty, I'll go ahead and get started here. We'll keep this pretty collaborative. This is using Zoom webinar, so there's a little Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. You can use that to ask questions throughout. So if you have any questions, feel free to interrupt with those at any time. I kind of want to make this more of a Q&A session than anything else. I'm also going to be recording this, so we'll be posting this online at some point, and that way folks that haven't seen it can have a chance, and if there are those questions that get answered during the webinar, other people will be able to see those. Kind of want to focus first and foremost on our dialer and our company number, and how you can use that to route to different people, especially since a lot of us are now working from home. I know different states have been operating differently with the COVID virus ongoing. So some of you may have been deemed non-essential or doing things virtually right now, which is great. That gives you a chance to do a lot of virtual closings. I know there's a few people in Florida I've talked to recently that are doing all their closings virtually, and that seems to be working well. So we'll talk a little bit about that too. Some of you may be out and still active, showing homes, so we'll dive into that a little bit. But I really want to focus on how you can use some of our dialer options for folks that may be working at home. This may be the first time your office has ever done any kind of remote work, and you may be needing to have some different routing options. So I'll try to cover all of that. Again, if you have questions, definitely feel free to interrupt with those. In your follow-up boss, I'll start with your phone numbers in general and where you can find those. So pretty much everyone under the admin tab here is going to have this phone number section. The phone number section is going to show all phone numbers listed in an account, including individual dialer numbers for people, your company number, and your shared inbox number. And then I'll break all three of those down in just a second. If you don't see this phone numbers tab, kind of a cheat you can use to access this screen is by putting the /phone-numbers after the 2 up here. Even if you don't have this, you will be able to, or you don't have the button here, you'll be able to access this page. Normally, if you don't have this button, it may be because you don't have dialers, but you may be curious to see this page anyway. A lot of you have ported in numbers before and are using numbers in Follow-Up Boss that you used to use in other systems, maybe Google Voice or Better Voice. Another cool thing about porting in numbers into Follow-Up Boss is it lets you deprecate older systems that you may be paying for. So you may be paying for Follow-Up Boss and another dialer system when it's likely more cost effective to have it both all in one. So first, let me break down the differences between the 3 numbers, or the 3 number types we have. Your company number is the default number that every single Follow-Up Boss account has. So whether you're using our dialer or not, every Follow-Up Boss account has a company number. The company number is where all of your action plan texts come from. When your agents are texting their clients, those texts are coming from this company number, with the caveat being, if you have dialer numbers, the dialer number trumps the company number. So what I mean by that is the dialer number is an individual number that gets assigned to each person on your team. If you are using those individual dialer numbers, the company number is normally not used for any outbound because the outbound is coming from these dialer numbers. So think of the company number as like your office phone number, whereas these individual dialer numbers are like an individual person on your team's cell phone number or work number. One additional thing that we have is a shared inbox number, which are numbers in addition to the company number that can be used for different kinds of routing. And I'll go into all of the routing options that we have for some of these in just a minute. So for the shared inbox numbers, that allows you to spin up additional numbers that can be used for inbound routing and outbound text communication. So for example, maybe you want to do a new marketing initiative on a landing page. So maybe you're going to run a Facebook ad and it's going to go to a landing page with a phone number, and you want to track how many people are calling and texting in from that number. You could spin up a shared inbox and use the shared inbox number and call it Facebook landing page, and then you would know any call and text coming from that number is coming from that landing page. It also would allow you, if you want to have a little mini strike team, for example, that are going to be handling the inbound from a specific marketing campaign, it would allow you to assign those people to that specific phone number. A lot of people will use these for billboards too. So they'll maybe do like south of downtown billboard and have a specific number spun up for that. And they know exactly how many people are contacting them from that billboard advertisement. So a lot of cool options with the shared inboxes. To go into number porting briefly while we're on this page, the number porting, I'll kind of back up and explain how number porting works. So every single carrier is like a manager for a specific phone number. So Verizon, if you have Verizon as your carrier and you have a phone number with Verizon, they don't necessarily own your phone number. They're just the proprietor or the kind of manager for your phone number. You can move that phone number to any carrier that you would like. That includes, you can move it to AT&T, you can move it to T-Mobile, you can move it over to Twilio, which is our carrier. And so the number could exist in your Follow Up Boss account. So a lot of folks will have office numbers that they maybe had with Google Voice, or maybe they had a full phone set up with Ring Central. We've seen a lot of folks do a port request to port those into Follow Up Boss. You can port them out of Follow Up Boss anytime you'd like as well. The port requests usually take about 2 weeks to complete, and then it gives you the access to use that number you ported in from a different system as your company number, as your shared inbox number, or as an individual dialer number. So I'll pop over here to the inbox tab. The inbox tab is where your company inbox is going to live. So everyone should have a company inbox in their account. Next to that company inbox number, you have a little gear icon. And this gear icon is going to let you set up the routing for this company number. So I'll hit the edit pencil here and we'll go into the routing rules. Before I dive into the routing rules, I'll explain how the default routing works for this. So if you don't have any Follow Up Boss dialers added on, let's say you're not using our Dominate plan or our Pro or our Platform plan, and you're just using kind of our default Grow plan that has the one company number, if the lead exists inside of Follow Up Boss and someone texts your company number here, it's going to always send that text or call to the assigned agent, meaning these routing rules only come into play when an unknown person that doesn't exist in your Follow Up Boss account calls or texts this number. That's what this routing is for. Because obviously, if an agent is already assigned to a lead and they call or text, you probably want that call or text to go straight to that agent that's already dealing with that lead. So that already happens. If you do have our Dominate, our Pro, or our Platform plans that include the dialers, the routing automatically happens anyway, because the outbound texting and calling is coming from folks' individual dialer numbers, and so any inbound from that is going directly to those agents anyway. So I'll just kind of give you a scenario here. So here's your company number here. Let's say this is your office number, and your team is working from home now, and you need to be able to route some of these inbounds calls and texts in virtually. So the nice thing about having a virtual dialer system is it allows you to do that pretty easily inside of Follow Up Boss. The checkboxes here are signaling who actually has access to see this company phone number tab here. So if I want to give Caroline and Becca access to see this company tab, I can check those boxes, and that will give them access to see the inbound texts, missed calls, missed voicemails, incoming calls, and their recordings. It'll show up under the company tab for them. And I would save that obviously with the save button in the top right-hand corner. For some additional routing options, let's say you have a team of 3 people that handle most of your inbound to your office number or a company number. What you can do is you can set it to ring additional cell phone numbers here. So you can click the ring members with the calling add-on and these additional mobile numbers. This allows you to type in up to 5 mobile numbers. It doesn't have to be even someone that uses Follow Up Boss. It can be anyone's mobile number in here. So you can just hit add phone number. I could type in whatever this number is, and now it's going to ring this number in addition to these other three when an inbound person calls in. That'll be great because it'll allow more than one person to answer the phone and probably up the likelihood that someone's going to answer and it won't go to voicemail. You do have the option to decide if there is no answer, do you forward to another number? Do you have a catch-all person that just they need to pick up the phone at all times if it's going to this number because at this point no one else has answered? Or do you want it to go to a specific voicemail, which you can record here? So you can record the virtual voicemail right here. You can also edit your office hours and decide what to do if it's in or outside of your office hours. So let's say during 8 to 5, your local time, you want this routing to take place, but outside of that, you want it to forward to an answering service, or maybe you're the owner of the team and you want it to forward to your phone number. So you would set that option up here. The routing for the office hours can be edited here. You can also click admin and click over to company, and this is where you can edit your office hours for that. So I'm going to click back over here. Another cool thing you can do is you can attach multiple numbers to one company inbox. So you can see here, I have my company number, but I also have these additional numbers that were ported into this account. And so I have all 4 of these numbers that are going into this one inbox, and I can give multiple people access to that inbox. So if I had a bunch of different numbers in the past that I'm consolidating, you can put those all into one inbox. All of the inbound can be handled by the same people, or you can split them out amongst multiple inboxes if you'd rather do that. Just to kind of explain what these icons mean on the right here, if someone does have the dialer, they're going to have a little green phone icon, and it means that this person is going to receive inbound calls to any of these numbers here via their follow-up boss application, meaning it's going to ring on their browser and they can answer it using a headset on their computer. If it has this little mobile icon, it means they're going to be receiving calls directly to their cell phone. So that's because I have Chuck listed over here, and because he has the dialer add-on, he's going to be receiving both. So if he's out and about, he gets it on his cell. If he's sitting at his computer, he gets it right here in his application. Another thing you can do with the follow-up boss dialer for some outbound, I'll give you a few examples of that. We have calling lists, which I'll demonstrate for you in a second here. And then we also have the ability to transfer calls. So if a call does come in and you have someone screening those calls, maybe an ISA or an admin, the admin can screen the call and then transfer to another person inside of your account or another phone number outside of your account as well. So you do have the ability to do some transferring options there. Anyone that has the Dominate plan, the Pro plan, or the Platform plan has the ability to record their calls too. So under admin, if you switch over to company, you can enable and disable your call recording here. The call recording is going to basically catch any outbound and inbound call, and it's going to record that call on the lead's timeline. So when you complete a call, you can click play right on the timeline and listen to that call, or you can download it from the lead's timeline too. We did just implement a new dialer system on our mobile devices too. So if you have our Follow-Up Boss app on your mobile phone, it allows you to make outbound calls directly from your Follow-Up Boss virtual numbers here. And it also allows you to receive inbound calls from your or to your Follow-Up Boss virtual number and answer them directly on your cell phone. The only thing right now that you can't do on the Follow-Up Boss mobile app in regards for dialing is there's no way to text or call from your shared or company numbers. So it's kind of like you don't really call outbound from your office number on your cell phone. You call outbound from your cell phone number. It's that same concept here. So you can call outbound from your individual Follow-Up Boss dialer number and receive calls back to that. To quickly demonstrate the call list feature, on the People tab, if you do have the dialers enabled, you're going to have this little calling list icon. And this is pretty cool because it lets you select any number of people and enter into this call list mode. And the call list mode is going to auto dial these folks one at a time as soon as you hang up. So if I hit this calling list button, I'll create a new calling list here. It's going to immediately start calling this lead. And then when I hang up, it's going to immediately start calling the next lead in my list when I click next. So now I'm calling number 2 in the list. And again, I hang up, I can hit next, and it's going to keep calling through that list. So if you have a specific list of people that you're like, okay, this is my call list for the day, I'm sitting at home and I have nothing to do, I'm going to call through all of my hot prospects and chat with them about virtual closings. So you click the button for all of these and you call through them one at a time. And it's going to auto log those calls each time. Just to kind of quickly demo what the transfer option looks like, I will pull this up here. So let me go. I'm going to call Joe Tester. When you're on a call, the transfer button is what's going to allow you to transfer out. So I could transfer over to, let's say, Andrew King, and it's immediately going to start that transfer. The call hasn't been answered yet, so you're not going to see. Let me see if I can demo one with that, me actually answering a call, so you can see that. One second here. Before we carry on, does anyone have any additional questions? Feel free to put them in the Q&A box there, and I'll answer those as we go along. You should have a Q&A button at the bottom of your little Zoom panel there. Okay, so let me do an actual call here and answer it so you can see what that looks like. Okay, so I'm actually on a call here. I should be able to transfer this over to Agent Caroline. When I have, so it puts the person I just called on hold and is going to call the next person here. Once the call is answered by the person I'm transferring to, you have the option to stay on the call or just hang up and complete that transfer, or you have the option to cancel the transfer as well. Another additional thing I haven't pointed out yet, you can make calls directly from the top right-hand corner just by typing in any number or by searching for a lead and clicking on them once they've been pulled up. It allows you to send that as well. Going back to the inbox tab here, I think I've covered everything with the dialer and the shared inboxes. I will spin up a new shared inbox here just so you can see what that looks like. It's the same options as the company number, so I'll give a few people access to it. Click save. I'm now going to have a third inbox here. Here's my new shared inbox number. Under my phone numbers tab, I'm also going to have this new number I just spun up with the name of the inbox. And I have some different options surrounding that. And I can move that number to my company inbox. I could swap it for a different number or just change it completely. There really isn't a limit to how many shared inbox numbers you can spin up, but I would say kind of be thoughtful about how you go about using those. Looks like there was a question. Is there any way to share emails to the company inbox? Zach is asking that. So that's a good question. We do have a new feature coming out. Let me demo this for you real quickly. So we have a new inbox design coming out, and along with that, the ability to attach an email address to that inbox. So if I go in here, this is the new design, so it looks a little bit different, but it does allow me to connect an email address to an inbox, and that's going to operate kind of like your connected, I guess your connected email address for an individual in Follow Up Boss, but it's going to tie it to the company or shared inbox. So let's say you have sales at whatever your team's name is .com, and you want to, that's not really anyone's personal email address, but it is an email that you want to stay active on and respond to. You can connect that email address here. And so when any lead that exists in a Follow Up Boss emails that email address, it will pull right into the inbox, and you'll be able to respond to it directly from there. And you'll be able to see that it came from that sales at whatever your team name is .com. So that's a new feature that's going to be released soon with the new inbox design. The new inbox design here has all the same functionality with some additional functionality added, like a do not disturb mode. So you may want to have an inbox, but you may not want it to call people. It also allows you to see the leads information, like a shot of the leads demographic information as you're replying to them, and gives you the ability to assign conversations or emails, texts, calls, voicemails to specific people. Or specific inboxes that certain people have access to. So it's much better inbox design. It's a lot more robust. So we're pretty excited about that. There's going to be some mass action options coming on this as well. Some mass actions on the inbox has been a thing people have been asking about for a bit too. Good question, Zach. Any other questions that anyone has? Cool. I think the last thing I'll show is the call report. The call report exists for anyone with that Dominate Pro or platform plan. The report shows 3 different items. So you have calls made, connected calls, and conversations. A calls made is just any call made, period. The connected call is a call, you can hover over here to see the definition, but calls lasting a minute or more, or a conversation we define as calls lasting 5 minutes or more. And then you have the receive time. So this is a pretty good report just to see what your team has been doing in regards to the phone calls being made. You can click on the number of people that they've called and actually see who they've called if you're wanting to track that a little bit. You also have the ability to change the dates for the call made period. And if you haven't seen it, another thing that's embedded with our dialer is the new leaderboard. So the calls are a big part of the new leaderboard, which essentially gamifies the call, texting, appointment setting, emails, etc. It kind of gamifies that and gives each person on your team a score, so you can see who's really been slaying it on your team. A lot of teams have been putting this up on a TV or a monitor in their office so everyone can see it. Just makes it a little bit more engaging, especially if you are doing a lot of work from home right now. This could be a good way to keep everyone engaged and active. Again, this is available for most of the plans that have the dialer. So I think a lot of folks, to be successful using Follow Up Boss, using the full integrated system is the best way to go, because it's going to give you the best results. If you can get your numbers ported in, get the dialer spun up, adopt the leaderboard, even if you're a solo agent, it can kind of help you stay motivated and trying to beat your own score. So any other questions before I wrap things up here? Ralph asked if I'll be posting this. Yes, so that was a good question. We are actually working on some COVID-19 related resources. So we know this is affecting people's businesses a lot. It's definitely affecting our businesses because we're directly tied to how you're being affected. So we are going to spin up some resources of probably some talking points for you, some email templates, some text templates, a few guides. There's going to be some videos we're creating. We will add this video to that. So you'll see a banner pop up at some point, probably later today, with a lot of those resources, and then we'll continue to add to that over the next couple of weeks. Awesome. Well, I'll go ahead and wrap things up. Again, this was all recorded, so hopefully this was helpful for some of you to see a lot of the dialer features and how the phone numbers and Follow Up Boss operate. We've tried to make it as robust as possible, and we'll continue adding to it as we go along. So if you have any suggestions or things you'd like to see added to the dialer, definitely send that to our support team, because we'd love to hear about it. A lot of the features we have developed are because of our customers asking us for those features. So definitely be vocal about what features you'd like. We want to hear your feedback. Really appreciate everyone joining today and taking some time out of their day. Best of luck this week, and have a great day.